Good afternoon. I wanted to share with you all this process that we have been trying to create at the district level to facilitate some better conversations at the school level and give you all the resources you need to be able to have those conversations. So, this is a document that we have collaboratively put together that hopefully will be useful for you as you start thinking about the funds and the money that you have at the school level and the best way to use those funds. Um, so this process, this financial stewardship process, was something that was outlined in the community-centered schools notes that Mr. Bradley had put together, and want to make sure that we always come back to this as it's a vision long term for our school district. What this is going to do is explain some of the different funds that are available at each of the schools. And then it's also going to link to a specific spreadsheet for your school. I will be sharing or giving you access to the folders of all of these and explaining a little bit more about what each one entails. So, up at the top, we have the purchasing process. If we click that, you're going to see this is the process for spending funds. We have tried to make this as streamlined as possible so that for the same process that you use for Title I will be the same process that you use for ESS, will be the same process that you would use for site-based funds. Having different processes only makes it more confusing. So essentially what that looks like is you begin with the purchase requisition. Your bookkeepers have those. That then will come to the central office level to Jesse Rogers. Jesse will ensure that the correct munis code is written for that purchase and ensure that funding exists. You will go through and budget your items, and it'll be assigned munis codes, and we'll make sure that schools are staying within their budgets, and hopefully this document will help you do that. Once Jesse has done that, it will go to authorization for the person here. You can see these are the people for the different funds that will need to sign off to ensure really that exists to ensure that it's an allowable expense. Each of these funds have different allowable expenses. Hopefully, this document will also answer those questions. Once it's been authorized, Jesse will get the purchase order, send it back to the school level. And once the school has received the purchase orders, you can get your items and then send the receipt to Denise Boblet so that we can get the items paid for. So that's what that process looks like. And that, once again, is the same process for any of the funds that you're using. In addition, some of these funds will allow you to begin the process of getting subs and using those subs for different things. So, for example, we will be having externships. We will be having opportunities for teachers to go view other teachers' classrooms across the district. So, when that occurs, when teachers log into ASOP, they will select professional development as the reason for the absence. And then in the notes to administrator, you'll need to select what exactly it's for. So if you are planning on if you're planning on your teachers going to an externship, they would simply write for externship there. If you're going, when we start beginning this process of teachers visiting other classrooms, they will write that in those notes there. And that's really for people at central office to make sure that things are coded correctly. So each of these funds, this is a living document. We intend fully to be adding things to this. But the first set of funding is obviously your site-based funding. Amy has told you how that occurs and the policy that exists for that. And then this is a link where you can look at everybody's site-based budget policies if you so choose. We can add information here if we're getting questions or systems that we need to clarify. That'll be a space to do that. Same thing with ESS. ESS is other funds that you have. What I've linked here is if you choose to get a daytime waiver, I've linked the application for the daytime waiver and the evaluation for the daytime waiver. Once again, this is a living document, so we can add things to this as time goes on. Title I is given to the elementary schools and our K-8 schools. You can see the district budgets up here for each of the schools at the top. And then some notes on what that looks like. So Title I is for reading and math only. It's to supplement, not supplant. And you can't get food from Title I funds. the Gifted Minds budget I believe for the first time, Tiffany has gone through and assigned budget allocations to schools to use for their Gifted Minds population. So really, there was $100 for any Gifted Minds student, $50 per speech student, and then an extra $100 for PASS and MSD students. And she's told you what you can spend those items on. So as things come up, the schools have some more say so over the funding that you have for Gifted Minds programming, software, curriculum, achievement, those sort of things that you want to award. Title II is really meant for professional development, and really the way that we want to center this is around being able to better answer the questions of what does it mean to be a community and what is the purpose of school. So these budgets, and you can see, once again, you can click this link and see what everyone did. Essentially what we did was we took, I believe it was $135 per certified staff member that was assigned to your school. And you can see these are some things that you might want to do. You might want to send teachers on site visits. You might want to have a professional learning opportunity at school. You might want to do peer observations within the building and get subs for that. You might want to do some type of book reading. Once again, if you get subs as part of this, you will just write in, or that teacher will write in Title II on that notes category so that our central office will know where that needs to go. So that's the Title II budget. Title IV, this is specifically for high schools. So what we did was we gave $2,000 to each high school and to the area technology center to use as. So this Title IV budget is meant to allow the CTE programs to be able to go to student leadership competitions if they need materials, transportation to those events, entry fees, subs. That's what this is going to allow to occur. There's the Skills USA competitions. There's the FBLA, FCCLA competitions. So that is what this is primarily meant to be used for. So if we go back to the first page, this page, you can see this is what this will look like. So if I open, the Nelson County section, there is a mechanism to budget. So this is an important piece to this. By Friday, September the 20th, you need to have gone through and budgeted out the funds that you need in these sheets. What that's going to allow Amy and the finance staff to do at central office is get it in Munis correctly and be able to keep track of that in a much more efficient manner. So if you go down through here, you can budget this out as you see fit in the areas that you want to do. And then it also has your allocated number here. And this works as a sheet. So as you start budgeting things, it'll tell you how much funds you have available. And you can see down at the bottom, it's got all of your correct funding for site-based, ESS, IDEA, Title II, and Title IV. If you are an elementary school, you would also have a Title I budget down here, but not a Title IV budget. So that's kind of what that looks like. We also, in addition, expect to be adding Perkins to this as well. That will affect just the high school CTE programs, and there'll be other mechanisms. So this is a living document that we hope will be a place for you to be able to budget the things that you need to budget for your school, give you some more ownership over the funds that are available to each of the schools, and allow you to better the conversation about what is the purpose of school and what does it mean to be a community. So once again, this will allow these sheets are your individual sheets. You'll be able to see what funds you have available to budget. And then Amy will be keeping track of that in Munis, and that your bookkeepers, she'll also be working with your bookkeepers to show them how to use Munis as well. So that if you have a question about how much money do I have in certain accounts, your bookkeepers will be able to go on Munis. But it is what we want you to do is go ahead in these sheets now and budget out your money that is available to you. So this is the process. Hopefully this will give you also a better understanding of what you want to occur, and we'll see in your buildings and give you some more ownership over that process. Thanks.